Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We are going to be looking at different options to showcase your federal opportunity zones. My name is Elisa Sklar. I'm the VP of Marketing at GIS Planning, and I'm very happy to be here today with my colleagues, Stevie Field-Chavez and Jeff Sunnison. Hello, Stevie and Jeff.
Hello, happy New Year.
So with that, I would just like to say a couple things about what it is that we're going to be looking at today. So federal opportunity zones, as you know, is one of the kind of hottest topics right now in economic development in the United States as a result of the 2017 tax legislation that was passed in the US. There are now designated federal opportunity zones. Usually those zones are places that are lower income or ready for rejuvenation and investment of different kinds, and tax cuts or incentives are available for investors willing to move into those areas. And we know that there are federal opportunity zones in every state. And so what we're seeing now is a recognition of the importance of being able to showcase those zones on economic development pages, state, municipal, county, government websites as well, to showcase properties in those areas, but also to showcase where those areas are, to be able to offer that information to investors. And so part of what we pride ourselves about at GIS Planning is the ability to innovate as quickly as possible. We really believe that we are what's new when it comes to online data tools for economic development software. So we very quickly made sure that there were a variety of ways that economic development organizations would be able to easily and quickly showcase those federal opportunity zones in a variety of ways. So Stevie is going to show you what these look like, but just very briefly, I want to offer you an overview of the different ways that you can actually do this. First of all, if you are an existing Zoom Prospector Enterprise Full Edition client, we have opportunity zone layers. We've got the data ready to go. We can put that as a layer set on default on your Zoom Prospector Enterprise online web tool. We can add opportunity zones as an option to the more assets filter, so anyone who's doing searches can choose to look specifically in opportunity zones. It is possible to add an opportunity zone banner to properties in those zones that are eligible. It is possible to look at a new icon to distinguish which properties fall in those opportunity zones. We can also ensure that opportunity zone properties can be set to come up first if that is something that you're looking at. It is possible to create a specific dedicated opportunity zone viewer. We know in some cases there are municipalities or counties or areas that want to just showcase opportunity zones and none of the other features and functionalities that are possible that we offer. And in that case, it is also possible to create a dedicated opportunity zone viewer. That's something that we'll talk about. And finally, it's possible to create, to showcase the opportunity zones as a layer in the mapping intelligence component, which is a standalone data tool, can be embedded on any one of your website pages. Takes literally a few seconds. It's a bit of code that you can paste into your website. And that way, these are interactive, mobile-friendly tools that immediately can showcase where the opportunity zones are in your area. And so with that, I'm going to pass this over to Stevie, and Stevie will show you exactly what that looks like. I'll be keeping an eye on the questions field, so if you do have any questions, feel free to put them in there in the GoToWebinar control panel, and we will make sure to address them at the end of today's session. So Stevie, you should be, there you go, we can see your screen, that's perfect. But you need to unmute yourself, because we can't hear you.
There we go, that helps. So I've got the right screen up. You can see my screen correctly?
Yeah, we can see the Search Site Finder and we can hear you just perfectly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much and Happy New Year to all that have joined us. We have a big group today and I know it's a different kind of format because we can't hear you and you can't ask your questions, so definitely take advantage of that questions box. So this is going to give you just a brief visual overview of some of the points that Elisa made. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is our new platform. We have really just rolled this out, and so those of us on the sales team are still kind of getting ourselves acquainted with it, but it has some really great new features and functionality, and so I'm going to take you through it and as well kind of highlight some of the points that Elisa made on how we can showcase your opportunity zones. By the way, if you know what they're calling that as an acronym, I'd love to know it, because O zones doesn't work, op zones, I'm not quite sure, so any feedback on that is appreciated. So at first glance, your user can, this site here, let me point out, is really opportunity sites only. So we've got opportunity-sites.zoomprospector.com/, which is the state of Connecticut. So that's only showing sites that are in this highlighted zone. We can schedule, one of the things Elisa pointed out is that we can set the default on the map, that your map layer is turned on for opportunity zones. So right away, your user gets an idea of where your opportunity zones are located and which properties are in them by just scrolling over any of the properties that's in that highlighted area. As well, your user can search from location by city, county, metro, or region. I can search by buildings or sites, so let's just select buildings that are in our opportunity zones. I can search by size, either square foot or acres, for sale or for lease. And then what type of business am I looking to, or building am I looking for? And don't feel limited to these. We actually have several to choose from, so these all can be personalized for your organization. Another thing that Elisa mentioned as an option is your opportunity zone asset. So I know I'm looking for an opportunity zone property. This is for sites that are not focused primarily on opportunity zones, but it allows all properties from within your area, industrial, manufacturing sites, buildings, etc., in and out of the opportunity zone to be showcased, but it allows your user to kind of zero in and say, I'm only looking for those properties within that specific designated zone. So I can search properties just based on all of the criteria that I entered. One of the new features of this tool is the ability to save a property very easily. We've got a little heart box up here, and we can also create a new folder. I can see that I'm going to name my folder Opportunity Zone Properties. Learn how to spell here and add my folder. And I can add any properties that I want into that folder, and I can even email that folder over to a potential site selector or business decision maker who is interested in that particular, in properties within that zone. You can see I just have created that folder, and I'm saving some of these properties here, and it's really just that easy. So another thing is the sites and the tools are very interactive, so I can zoom in, I can of course zoom out. I can also filter my area with a free draw, so perhaps I'm only looking for properties in this kind of squiggly line, which is horrible, lets you know my artistic skill or lack thereof, and I can apply that filter to my search, so now only properties in the opportunity zones within that area that I've drawn are going to populate my map. Now, Elisa did mention a banner, so I'm afraid we don't have an example to show you. That's coming. We've really kind of switched the whole opportunity zone gear here with coming out with this, and so that's one of the things in development. But we can put a banner directly across a property card, which is what we call these images here, so it says opportunity zone on it. That's one of the ways to highlight those properties, and it especially is beneficial when you have both opportunity zones and non-opportunity zone properties in your application. When Elisa mentioned the icon, she's talking about this little button right here. On those applications, again, that have both opportunity zone and non-op zone properties, a different icon might be beneficial to help differentiate that property is actually in that designated zone. So let's take a look at one of our buildings here and look at the supporting data that comes with it. So here we have our picture. Now we do have some folks in the real estate profession that are on the call, and so this is kind of really useful information because it would allow, I mean, this works for both an economic development organization or the real estate profession, but it allows your user to contact your broker directly. I can contact the economic development organization or city county representative directly. This is particularly useful with the opportunity zone properties, as we have now specialists being designated in communities for that. So that allows that first line of contact right at the get-go. You can see I've zoomed in here on my map. It's going to share with me the address and the information, a description and property details about this property. You can see it's in the opportunity zone. I've got all my building details, access information, and additional contact information. For the brokers and real estate professionals that are on the call, we can build these sites that are internal for your firm only, and that covers multiple regions and communities and or states that are only opportunity zone properties that you may be holding, or it can go just for all properties that your firm may hold, and it can even be forward facing. We'll work with you on that and customize that and personalize that for you. All of the demographic, labor force, consumer expenditure information is all included in what we do. So the demographics, labor force, and consumer expenditure information is all provided by Applied Geographic Solutions and is updated 2 times annually. You don't need to do anything. We simply push the data out to you. The information is automatically updated. You can see we have our 2018 and our projected 2023 information, and it goes into age, gender, ethnicity, race, etc. And I can turn on different map layers, so I can see maybe the age distribution of your 40 and 49-year-olds, so I can see maybe where your higher concentration of your more mature or middle age, I don't even know what to say, of that group may be. Sorry to anyone in the 40 to 49 group. Our labor force information is, the report looks very similar, but the information is, of course, very different and very detailed. Here we have our total establishments by size, a breakdown of our employees and businesses by actual establishment type. At any time, I can turn on the map layer, and I can modify this information and change my radius simply by scanning my button in and out, and my data will automatically change to accommodate. I'll show you just how easy that is. So, whoops, change my radius. So let's look at our consumer expenditures. Again, it's the same type of information in terms of breaking down the multiple layers of data that we have. So we have breaking it down into where our consumers are spending their money. We also have our wage and salary information. Wage and salary information is brought to you by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's updated once annually, and it's broken out into both hourly and annual information. And I can get very specific and look at specific information. So if I'm, looking to find out where a specific category of labor force may be, I can certainly, or my higher wages in a particular area, I can highlight that on my map. Our business data is very different. It is updated 4 times annually, and the information is provided by Info USA. Again, we don't need to take the site down to upload this information. It's automatically pushed out. And so I can look at this information. Our default here is 1 mile, but I can change our radius, and the information, the numbers are just going to automatically change by changing that radius. I can break it out into specific categories of businesses that I'm looking at. Here's banking, finance, and insurance, and I can see how many in these, how many in these particular industries we have, and even look at the actual business names. Again, this information is updated 4 times annually. Our talent information is actually kind of new. I think it's been in place now for about a year, so to me that feels pretty new. But it maps out all of our learning institutions, and not only just our learning institutions, but where our graduates, what our graduates are graduating in, and with which degree. So here it's going to showcase the top programs by number of graduates, and we have our top universities by number of graduates, and we can get very specific and even discover, you know, who's graduating in which field of study and from which university by simply clicking on our mouse here. And I know I'm going very fast. We have about 30 minutes to get all of this information in. We will provide you with information at the end of the webinar for a more detailed and personalized demo. If you're looking to do this maybe with your team or your board, we can certainly schedule a go-to meeting very similar to this, only we can hear each other. So this is just really giving you a broad brush idea of what our site can do. And then we also have added our city and county profile. So this is kind of a new feature because it's a one-click. So I want to find out the city of Waterbury information. We have our intelligence component here, which is going to show us not only our population, but our age. You can see it's interactive, and it scrolls all the way down to give kind of an aggregate of all of the information combined in a very easy to use, easy to read format. So how does this, you know, let's kind of recap a little bit. Let's go back to our property report on how this works for opportunity zones. So let's go back to our results page. So we can banner properties. So you could have an opportunity zone banner across the property. We can default those banners to populate the map first. So that way your user sees those opportunity zone properties right off the get-go. We can have a new property icon identifying opportunity zones. We can set the map layer as a default. One of the things we will be adding is that it will have the map layer opportunity zone kind of up here in the corner screen, so your user will be able to determine that that map layer is indeed on. It's not on as you're looking at it right now. You can add on the more filters. We can add opportunity zones here for those sites that have all properties in and out of an opportunity zone. And we also have what we call an opportunity zone intelligence component. City of Stockton did an excellent job. So if anyone here is from the city of Stockton, you did just a great job. We're kind of showcasing this. It not only shares information about the opportunity zones and your approved census tracts, but really goes into what an opportunity zone is, different investment opportunities, and here we have what we call our intelligence component. An intelligence component is something that we actually develop. It's all of the same information that you see inside the site. So this is your interactive mapping with map layers, your demographics, your business, all of those reports that we just saw inside the GIS tool. But these live outside of the GIS tool and they're still interactive. So these are really, really great for chambers of commerce and organizations that may want to, first of all, they want to embed in multiple places because we understand that data and finding consistent data is a pain point for our chamber and economic development professionals, but it provides that universal, you don't have to do anything, automatically updated information that goes across your entire website. And this is just one of those intelligence components that we offer. It's fully interactive, and you can see that we have all of our opportunity zone tracks here highlighted, so your user can see just easily where their opportunity zones may be. So that's just a really another great example of how to use that information. You can have, for brokers and developers, again, you can have a site that's not only internal, but it's only opportunity zone driven or all across the board. Again, we would provide those same filters for searching properties. You can also have that forward-facing site if that's something that you're interested in. And for those on the phone who are our clients, if you have a full edition application and you're interested in the new platform, simply email Jeff. We'll provide his information at the end of this call and let him know you're interested in upgrading to the new application. We can add some of these features for you with that full edition at no additional cost. If you're looking for an additional opportunity zone only application, let us know and we can quote you on that. And for those of you who are local edition clients, you will need the full edition in order to get this customization for your opportunity zones. So you can contact either myself or Jeff for that. Let me see. Have I missed anything, Elisa or Jeff?
No, that sounds pretty complete to me.
No, just one thing I would add, and I don't know if you covered it, Stevie, but as far as the designation of the opportunity zone properties, that's not something that you have to do on your end. As long as you have your property data in there, we actually use that location as well as the opportunity zone data that we have to look that up. So as long as you're putting your properties in there and we enable this feature, it'll automatically pull the appropriate properties based on their location. That's just the only thing I would add.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I appreciate that. So just a couple other features since we have a couple extra minutes and then we can go into questions. I mentioned to you that we can look at our we can look at our properties once we've saved them. We can share these by PDF, by print, or sharing in email or social media. And the really cool thing about some of that is it's not to be underestimated how important it is to be able to share by link or in social media, because a lot of us could be, I'm an economic developer. I was a client of GIS planning about 19 years ago, and to be able to include that link or this folder of properties in an email to a site selector who's looking at properties in our opportunity zones is very helpful, as well to be able to look at a property and maybe I want to highlight that in my newsletter to include that link. So it's, in my automated newsletter, I can actually just click that and share it. I can share it on LinkedIn. Hey, check out this property here in our community. This is, one of our new opportunity zone properties. So it's a real easy process to do. Although right now my LinkedIn is, because I logged out of it, I guess it's taking a few minutes. So here's my information, and I can write a message or I can send as a private message. Check this out. And I can even I can send this to Elisa. So let's go ahead and, so you can see just how easy that is. I've sent that. Now she's going to get that in her inbox, and I've just shared this property with her. So we've made this intuitive, easy to use. You don't need a GIS degree to navigate through it, and really a way to highlight that new designation. So with that, Elisa, I'll turn it over to you. If you want to let us know if we've got any questions, we can kind of address these questions as they come in.
Sure. Okay. So first of all, Denari helpfully suggests that they call them OZs.
OZs. Okay. We appreciate that. We've struggled with that. And so OZs. Done.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Denari. That's awesome. Then we have a question from Jennifer in Ohio, who says that because they're in Ohio, they're using Zoom Prospector to submit their properties when leads come out. And she wants to know if a city wants to highlight specific properties in an opportunity zone, is it the city who has to subscribe to GIS planning, or do they do it? I mean, what are the different ways in which this can actually be managed?
Not knowing her organization, so the city certainly can do it, your economic development organization can do it, your chamber can do it, anyone who has properties and who they want to showcase those properties can have one of these tools. So it is subscription based. If you want to contact me after the call, I'm happy to provide you with a proposal on what that is and how you can do that. And a personal demo, the reason I love those is because it allows me to look at your website and see how all of this could fit in to your website. So we can discuss that together. I can hear your questions, but any organization can have one of these. If you're working with the city, it's natural that the city would also have one, but you can have multiple for the same community, just different arms. So the chamber might have one, the city could have one, and we'll make sure that we program them so they can talk to each other. So if a property is uploaded in one, it uploads in all of them according to that particular client's programming wishes. So we can filter out things that don't need to be there, it's very customized, and I use the word again, personalized for each community.
Okay, excellent, perfect. And Jennifer, feel free to get in touch with us. We can certainly discuss the specific context for you, make sure we can get you the answers you need. And then Alicia wants to know about the costs. And I guess there's a variety of different things that we're talking about here. Stevie, maybe you could just explain a little bit about how that might vary depending on the community and the product.
Certainly. So all of our prices are based by population, and because we've got a group here that's so large, I'm happy to discuss that for your community or your region. If you want to contact me after, Elise is going to show our contact information. I will say again, though, that local additions do not have the ability to have all of this customization. They do have the ability, I do believe, since we provide the map layer of opportunity zones, that's available for them, but all of the other features would be on that full edition only, so that would require an upgrade. So just contact me directly, and I'm happy to give you the information for your community.
And I guess it's also worth adding that the mapping intelligence component, which doesn't show the properties, but still allows you to illustrate the zones themselves in an interactive, mobile-friendly way. Those are very affordable. Either you can get them a la carte, one at a time, or you can get the suite of the 6 of them. So that is also a different price point that we can discuss with any specific organization.
It's a great point. Yes, there's definitely options to fit any budget.
Just a reminder, we are getting some other questions in, but anyone who has a question, feel free to put them in the questions field in the GoToWebinar control panel on the right-hand side of your screen. Someone wants to know, do they have to provide the Opportunity Zone data?
No, we provide that for you. So you don't, and in fact, once we've worked with you on, getting the properties in, and there's multiple ways to get the properties into the application, we'll map those for you automatically too. So you don't need to program where that property is, that it's in an opportunity zone or not. Jeff will take care of that when actually building the application. We provide the opportunity zone and the census tract information, so you don't need to do anything with that.
Excellent. Okay, that answers another question that just came in about how we know where those things fit. So that's very helpful. I believe that actually takes us to the end of all the questions that we've got here. Jeff or Stevie, was there anything else that you wanted to add about opportunity zones?
Jeff, I'll defer to you.
No, again, and you just answered it, Stevie. We handle the lifting on basically the location of the opportunity zones, and if a property is in an opportunity zone, really the only thing that you need to provide is the actual property data, and that may already be in there. You may already have a way of, if you're an existing client, it's really just a matter of us, determining if it's in that location. Other than that, if you're an existing client, feel free to reach out to me. Specifically, if you're a full edition client, I would say reach out to me, because I can determine how you best want to utilize this. And then if you're a local edition or not yet a client, then you'd want to reach out to Stevie.
And we'll reach out, we'll contact everyone as well, just to make sure you don't have any follow-up questions. We know that we threw a lot of information at you. We had a very limited period of time, but we so appreciate you attending. We hope we answered some questions for you and gave you something to think about for this 2019 year.
So we actually just had one last question that came in from Dana about whether this is accessed from the GIS dashboard. I believe Dana is a current client.
I can take that one, Stevie, or Elisa. Sort of. So the layer itself, so the layer that we use for the opportunity zone, it should be there by default. You could technically remove it. So you do have access over there to your layers. As far as if a property is in an opportunity zone, you do have some ways of accessing that. I would recommend that we set that up for you. Most likely, Dana, you don't have that property attribute there, so we would want to add that for you. Once it's there, you could be manually flagging the properties as being in an opportunity zone, but what I would prefer to do for you is set up this automated way of being able to look that up. And so if you weren't a subscribing, or if you weren't a full edition client, you could technically go in and manually check each property if it's in an opportunity zone. If not, you could always upgrade to the full edition where we can automate that process for you.
Excellent. Okay, I think that takes us to the end of today's session. As I mentioned, we have recorded this, and I will be sending out a link to the video recording by tomorrow, if not later today. Please do not hesitate to get in touch with Stevie or Jeff if you have any questions. As always, we welcome your participation. We know you're busy, and we appreciate that you take time out of your days. And we look forward to seeing you on future webinars. Have a great afternoon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.